This is our reaction to the qualifying of the Australian Grand Prix.
Q1, we lost from qualifying 1, Zhou, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, and finally, Nico Hülkenberg were eliminated in Q1.
So I would say that our biggest kind of reaction to that was that Daniel Ricciardo, again, not performing very well compared to Tsunoda, and had one of his final flying lap deleted due to track limits, and again, not performing, 8/10 off of Tsunoda. What's going on this time?
Yeah, he went quite far wide of that turn that got him his track deletion for his time, and it's just not all come together, is it, for Danny Rick? As they say, when it rains, it pours.
And it's a shame that his home Grand Prix as well to underperform like that. Second last at his home Grand Prix is just it must be embarrassing for him as well.
He's never had particular luck at Albert Park, has Danny Rick. So hopefully tomorrow he can go forwards. Maybe sort of nab himself a point. I think that would be a good rescue of his weekend.
It would be a very good rescue. So fingers crossed for him.
Yes, I think for Q1, the big news also is lead us into our Q2 segment is that we've only got one Alpine eliminated in Q1.
So these are my favourite stats from the Australian Grand Prix. There are 5 drivers on the grid for the Australian Grand Prix that have won it. Valtteri Bottas, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and the one and only Fernando Alonso. The driver who's won the Australian Grand Prix the most amount of times is one of the GOATs, Michael Schumacher, who's won it 4 times. And the driver that has got pole the most amount of times is Lewis Hamilton. But he hasn't won it the most times, so pole doesn't always convert into a victory. So we lost in Q2, Ocon, Magnussen, Bottas, Albon, and the big surprise, Lewis Hamilton.
Yes, Lewis Hamilton 11th, his worst qualifying for a number of years in Albert Park, a track that he goes pretty well round. It wasn't a huge margin to his teammate. Literally had 1:16.901 for Russell and a 1:16.960, but that's the difference between a Q3 and a Q2 appearance. So that Mercedes not looking too fantastic at the moment.
No, I think we saw from the onboards that the seesawing they were having to do to get that car around Sector 3, especially around those slow corners, was just... It was a real surprise for that Mercedes, and Hamilton just not gelling with that car the way he wants. Russell managed to just get through to Q3. People look at Q2, Q3, whether it's a tenth, half a tenth, quarter of a tenth, you didn't get into Q3 and you're being outperformed by Russell, even if it is a small margin. But Hamilton, yeah, we were very shocked for that. We just couldn't believe that he's struggling this much in the car.
I think also another good session for Alex Albon, 12th, sort of justifying the reason for putting him in that car rather than Logan Sargent, who we've already said didn't take part in the... I think other notables was the fact that Esteban Ocon putting that Alpine into a Q2 appearance. Hopefully that's a sign of more things to come from Alpine and that steady rise up the grid that we want them to have.
Go back to Logan Sargent, Ben. Do you think that he would have got that car to 12 if he was in it?
I'm going to be brutally honest with you and say no. To be honest, but
no, not at all. Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know. He could have, but I have a feeling that Albon is more of a surety to get into that Q2 session.
I think James Vowles made the right decision.
Agreed on that one. So, in Q3, we had the drivers in the following order. We have Fernando Alonso in 10th, Lance Stroll in 9th, Yuki Tsunoda in 8th, George Russell in 7th, Perez after a penalty for impeding Hülkenberg in 6th, Piastri 5th, Leclerc 4th, Norris 3rd, Sainz 2nd, and Verstappen on pole.
Verstappen's on pole? Really?
I know, shock horror, isn't it? It was
Oh,
an amazing
my God,
lap.
honestly.
What, laps? Both were good enough for pole.
Yeah, exactly. Verstappen out in, 2.7 tenths ahead. You know, I think he said after the race, listening to one of his interviews after the race, of we weren't sure if we were going to be that good. And then he's just pulled out, almost 3 tenths ahead of the Ferrari. So that Red Bull is just on another planet.
Yeah, it's the same old story, isn't it? Of Ferrari giving us hope in Friday practice, and then Red Bull dashing our hopes in Saturday qualifying.
Sounds about right. It's exactly what keeps happening, isn't it? It's just, we think, oh, maybe Ferrari might do something. But Carlos Sainz, massive well done to him. P2 after his, obviously his appendix surgery he had, and he'd recovered very quickly, got in the car, and he's out-qualified Leclerc.
Yes, it was pretty substantive out-qualification as well. 1:16.1 versus a 1:16.4 for Leclerc, so you can't say it was a close affair on that one.
No, and Leclerc, he had a bit of a torrid time in his final run. He went into the pits, didn't even cross the line because he had a massive snap in sector 3, which ruined his lap. So he didn't even get a final run or put a time in for a final run anyway.
No. I think also one of the good talking points is that McLaren are in 3rd and 5th. It looks like that car is basically where they want that car to be at the beginning of the season compared to last year. So it's a good point to push on and challenge probably Ferrari. Not Red Bull at the moment, but Ferrari definitely.
Challenge Max.
Yeah, that might be a step too far, but a very good position for the rest of the season for them.
So we'll see what happens in the race tomorrow. But at the moment, it's kind of a bit of a same old story really. Max out in front, he's probably going to go off into the distance and have about a 10-minute lead after 3 laps. So that's just the same old story at the moment, isn't it? No one's catching Red Bull.
But hopefully there should be some good fights for podium positions between the age-old rivals of Ferrari and McLaren.
So fingers crossed for that on Sunday, early morning Sunday, may I just add.
Yeah, set your alarms, everyone.
Okay, so yes, set your alarms, because I know that I definitely will be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So we'll see on Sunday what happens. Hopefully a couple of safety cars or something to make the race just a little bit more interesting than the last two, and maybe someone can put a bit of a sweat on Max's brow, but we don't think that's going to happen, do we, Ben?
I think it's almost like Bernie Ecclestone many years ago was going to put rainwater on the track, at random intervals. I think we need random safety cars now to make sure that Max doesn't, fly off into the distance.
Or you can throw some banana skins on the track at Max or something, try to make it like a Mario Kart style or something.
It's something, isn't it? Because that car just looks completely on rails. Yeah.
Race obviously tomorrow, we'll see what happens, and thank you for watching as always. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop us a comment and let us know what you think about qualifying, and let us know, even your race predictions and what you think is going to happen tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and see you next one. Bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye.